online assembly.
My name is Matt and this is Ellie, and we are part of the schools team at Southampton City Mission.
You probably know us because we might have visited your school before. We usually go into schools to do Question of Faith, RE days, assemblies, prayer spaces, transition support, and a few other things as well. But at the moment, in fact, through this whole pandemic, we have also been bringing you these assemblies online.
Yes, and in this session, as usual, we will be asking you a question, we will be sharing a Bible story, we will be setting you a challenge, and we'll be finishing with a prayer, just like we do when we visit you in schools.
So today's Thoughts at 3 is all about the 7th commandment in our series on the 10 commandments that we have been doing this term. And today it is all about keeping your promises. So, commandment number 7 is sometimes known as don't commit adultery, which is when a married person or a married couple breaks their marriage promises. Now, you might not be planning to get married anytime soon, perhaps maybe even never, but that doesn't mean that you can't focus on today's assembly, because actually we think that we can take this commandment and say it as keep your promises. And if we think of it like that, then it can apply to all of our lives.
Yeah, absolutely. So our question for you today is, have you ever broken a promise? Now, it's okay to share. This is a safe space. It's not like we're streaming live to the internet or anything like that. But having said that, if you are watching live, you may want to put something in the comments or the chat. Just let us know about a time when you have maybe broken a promise, maybe something that's a little bit silly or a little bit funny, not something like we're going to get into trouble for. But I think it's only fair that we also share as well, Ellie, don't you?
I would agree with that, absolutely. Shall I go first?
Well, yes, Ellie, please let us know. Have you ever broken a promise?
Well, I can admit now that, yes, I think I have definitely broken some promises in my years. One example that comes to mind is actually to do with presents, birthday presents and Christmas presents. I don't know about you or if you're watching, if you've ever been told to don't go looking for your presents. Well, I have a vivid memory of when I was younger trying to get a sneak peek in my parents' wardrobe because I knew that's where the presents were kept. This was sometime before Christmas. Now, I don't remember if they actually told me, don't go looking for your presents. So I don't know if I really broke a promise there. But then saying that, I do know that now I'm older, my husband has told me, also don't look in his wardrobe because that's where he keeps birthday and Christmas presents from me. And I might have tried to sneak a peek there before. So yes, I admit I have broken a promise. But what about you, Matt? I bet you've broken a promise too.
I'm quite frankly, Ellie, I'm still reeling from this admission. I'm shocked and appalled by this revelation. And as all of our viewers will know, I mean, I am perfect and never do anything wrong. Yeah, sorry, I can't keep that up. Obviously, yes, I have also broken promises before. In fact, I just recently broken a promise I made to my own son, if you can believe that. I know. You know that we're doing shout-outs all through this term for different schools and different people and so on. Well, we said, didn't we, if you message us, then we promise to give you a shout out. And he messaged me not just once, but twice, 2 weeks he promised me, and we haven't given him a shout out. So I did say last week to him, after we finished, after the assembly was over, behind the scenes in the green room where there's all the purple Smarties, I said to him, look, Charlie, I promise I will give you a shout out next week. And so we're going to give a shout out to Charlie. He goes to Bitten. Charlie, this shout out's for you. And sorry for breaking that promises before, but I've kept my promise this time. Now, as you're thinking about whether you've ever broken a promise, you might want to pause us here, especially if you're watching on catch up, and discuss your answer or your ideas with the people around you. Have you ever broken a promise?
Well, we've got somebody who's already commented in our live chat. So Amy has confessed live that she always promises herself to do a diet that starts next Monday. And she's been doing that for the last 7 years. Amy,
Wow.
I don't think you're the only one that's probably said that and maybe not kept that promise.
Do you know, I'm on a seafood diet.
Oh, really? What's that?
Yeah, you see food and then you eat it.
Very good.
Well, was it Amy that was from?
That was from Amy, yes.
Amy, look, if we're on next week, which we are, then we will check back with you then. Watch us next week, and we'll see if you've kept your promise for next week. Okay.
So, not breaking promises is one of these 10 commandments, which, as you probably know, is from these rules given to Moses hundreds and hundreds of years ago. But what does that look like maybe for us today? What did Jesus have to say about it when he was here on earth? To answer that question, I know Matt has got something quite special lined up for us, so I think it's time for that now.
Yeah, so when Jesus was teaching people, when he was alive on earth about 2,000 or so years ago, he said this. He said, and he was talking to his friends, his followers, the people that followed him around, the Jewish people who had these laws originally given to them, as Ellie just said, through Moses by God. And in arguably the best book of the Bible, in the book of Matthew, in chapter 5, verses 33 to 37, as it says just there, he said this. He said, you have heard that our ancestors, the people long ago, were told, you must not break your promises. You must carry out the promises you make to God. But I say, or Jesus was saying, do not make any promises. Don't say, by the heavens, I promise this, because heaven is God's throne. Do not say, by the earth, I promise this, because the earth is God's footstool. And do not say, by this city, I promise it, because Jerusalem was the city of the great king. Jesus said, do not even pray, by my head, I promise this. No, because you can't turn one hair white or black. Although I'm trying not to have my hairs turn white at the moment. Anyway, that's beside the point. Jesus said this, just a simple yes, I will, or a simple no, I won't will do. Anything beyond that is wrong. So he was encouraging people not to make promises. And I think that's because he knew how broken promises could impact people. And I'm going to illustrate this just with a sheet of white paper and a black pen that I happen to have here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the word promises on this piece of paper, just like that. Put the lid back on there. There's the piece of paper. And you see, it's very easy to make a promise. Very easy, just as easy as it is to write something on a piece of paper. It's super simple to promise. Now, you guys probably don't promise things by the heavens or by the earth or by even your head or by the city of Southampton. But you might say, if you're in the playground, oh yeah, I swear on my mum's life that it's true. I'm telling the truth. I swear on my dog's life, or something like that. But obviously that's a promise. That's a promise you're making on something else. Who knows? Maybe you don't do that. But Jesus was saying, look, if you make a promise, then what can happen is when that promise breaks, actually it can cause damage to you, damage to the person that you've made the promise to, and that damage is irrevocable, or whatever the word is. You can't put a piece of paper like that back together again when it's all of these little bits. And so Jesus said, look, don't make these promises, because what will happen, I dropped a couple of bits there, what will happen is that you will just end up broken and unable to be used. What God wants is for us to be whole, is for us to be restored, is for us to be complete. And so although it's easy to make promises, and for some people it's easy to just restore pieces of paper like that, Jesus said, don't make promises, especially ones you can't keep. Just let your yes be yes and your no be no. I think it's time for a challenge from Ellie.
Amazing. Thank you for that, Matt. What a very good illusion and a great example of why really we shouldn't break our promises. Look at that, it's broken up again. Just like Jesus said it would. Well, as always, we do have a challenge for you this week, something to maybe have a go, thinking back to our idea of keeping promises. And so our challenge for you this time is going to be this. If you ever have broken a promise, maybe there's one or two that come to mind, then try saying sorry to that person who was hurt by it. Whether that was someone whose promise you didn't keep when you said you would, someone that's maybe hurt by something that you didn't keep as a promise. Try saying sorry and kind of start that healing process, just like we saw with that piece of paper coming back together again.
Well, and just like I did with Charlie when I said sorry earlier, hopefully he will forgive me now that we've given him a shout out. And of course, we haven't just got a standard challenge for you. As always, we also have an extreme challenge.
Extreme challenge.
Oh, sorry, we're back. Sorry, I got lost in the moshing there. I do apologize. So our extreme challenge this week is don't make a promise you can't keep. In fact, don't make any promises. If you're in a discussion with someone, don't say, oh, yeah, I swear it's true. I swear on my mum's life, or something like that, as we said in the example earlier. If you don't intend to do something, then don't say, yeah, I promise I'll do my homework. I promise I really will. Just say a simple yes, I will, or a no, I can't. Don't make any promises, especially ones that you can't keep. That is our extreme challenge for you this week. And we're going to say a prayer now just to help us to reflect and think about that a little bit more. So I'm going to say a prayer now, and if you would like to make it your prayer, then you can join in by saying Amen at the end when I do. Amen just means I agree. And so if you would like to agree, then you can say Amen. If you don't want to, that's fine. Say nothing and it will go over your head and nothing bad will happen to you. But whatever you believe, whether you want to pray or not, we can all take a time now just to think about the times when we have broken promises, and actually whether we want to ask God to help us not to make promises that we can't keep in the future. Just stay quiet for a moment as I pray. Dear God, thank you for your promises to us and your faithfulness, that you never break those promises. We're sorry for the times when we have broken our promises, either accidentally or on purpose. Help us not to make promises, especially ones that we can't keep, but instead just say a simple yes if we will do something, or a simple no if we can't. If you would like to agree, then you can say Amen.
Thank you very much, Matt, for leading us in that prayer. And thank you, everyone who has been watching. We are nearly coming to the end of our assembly, but I can see Matt's getting ready for my favourite part, which is some time for more shout-outs. Okay, so my first shout-out that I want to give today is for Year 5 at Harefield Primary School. You may recognise this shout-out from last week because they were going to be doing our Parables pack. Well, they've done it, and they've had some excellent work that they sent back to us. So we want to say well done and give them a shout out for some of the things that they have learned. I've got some quotes from Year 5. They learned things about helping people in times of need, no matter what your relationship is to them. They decided that they wanted to help the environment, to always love their neighbours and to not judge others. And for any story that you hear, it's always important to see if there is a hidden message, maybe like a moral. So that's just some of the things that they learned doing this pack all about parables. But Miss Golligy, the Year 5 teacher of Robin's class, she had this to say as well. The children in Robin's class loved their Question of Faith Day, especially the game where they told their own stories from saying one word at a time. There was lots of laughter and stories about poo and farting. So I'm sorry, Miss Golligy, that our Question of Faith Days brought such rudeness to your class, but we are glad they had fun and we are very impressed with the work that you've shared with us. So well done, Year 5.
Yeah, excellent. Lots of great things learnt there, but maybe less poo and farting next time, please, Miss Golligy. Well, our next shout out comes from someone called George, who commented on our Love Your Parents assembly, which I think was last week, wasn't it, Ellie? Last week, I don't know. We did it at some point. And he said that the way that he likes to show love to his parents is by giving them hugs. Now, if this is the George that I'm thinking it might be, I think I actually know him, and I also know his parents, and I know the school that he goes to. This is not because I'm some crazy stalker, but because I used to go to the church, I think, if it's the right George that I'm thinking of. So I wanted to give a shout out to George and to his parents and to Random St. John's, if it is the right George that I'm thinking of, but also because Daniel has commented on our video today to also give a shout out to Random St. John's because they love watching us. Please, thank you. Goodbye, Matt and Ellie. And lots of smiley faces. This is a big shout out for George, Daniel, Maddie, James, and Random St. John's.
Fantastic. Well, I've got a couple more shout outs to do, which are for those schools who are doing our online learning packs this coming week. We've got 2 of our first Easter sessions coming up.
Wow.
I know that Year 5 at Fremantle Academy are going to be doing one of our Easter online learning packs on Monday. So that is today. I hope they've been enjoying it. And also Year 3 and Marchwood Juniors, who will be doing an Easter session on Friday. And we're going to be zooming into their classroom as well to find out how they've got on. So hello to all of those.
Yes, hello to you guys. And actually, speaking about Marchwood, last Friday, we had a day with Year 5 at Marchwood, and we had a special guest who joined us for that, a lady called Anne, who was with us from Winchester University doing a student placement. She's training to be a secondary RE teacher. So she came in the office to see what we do when we visit schools. And after the Zoom that we had with them to do their question time at the end of the day live, we decided to get her to do the cup stacking challenge. And so I recorded her. As you know, Ellie, I've sent you the video. I haven't looked at the times or anything like that. So I don't know. Did she beat me? Was it a good time?
Well, I've got the leaderboard here. You can see your score from previously, 44 seconds.
Yeah, it's a good time.
But did Anne beat it? I think we better watch the footage and find out.
You're not going to tell me?
You're going to have to watch and see.
Okay, all right, here we go. Here's the footage of Anne doing the cup stack challenge. Okay, so this is Anne. She is on student placement with us from Winchester University for the day. And she's going to have a go at the cup stacking challenge. I'll give you a countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Great. That's 2. 3, 4. That's pretty good. Struggling to get the cups out here. Should have followed Ellie's method of getting the cups out first. That's 5. Oh, it's pretty good. Got a little bit of wobble on there. 6. Is she going to get the full 10 in the first go? 7. Oh, this is very good. 8. This is a good time as well. Oh, it's a lot of time wasted just getting the cups out here. 9. And 10. 1, 2, 3. Standing. That is brilliant. Well done, Anne. You did something Ellie hasn't been able to do yet. Nice. That is so good. Oh, I'm so relieved. You haven't told me what her time was, and I've been so worried because it was such a good time. She did it on her first go, which was incredible. I've never seen anyone do it straight off the bat. And I thought she has got to have a quick time there, but 50 seconds. As we were watching behind the scenes there and the time was ticking on, and it got to 44. I was like, yes, I'm unbeaten in the cup stacking challenge. So anyway, well done, Anne. That's a great time, 50 seconds. We'll give you a shout out. Hello to Anne Atkinson.
Yes, it was a fantastic score. I was very impressed with Anne, but it was not yet quite enough to beat Matt. So if you want to take part in the cup stacking challenge, it is very simple. You have to get 10 cups. We recommend plastic, although maybe avoiding the glass and china. But you have to film yourself stacking 10. They've got to stand there and then send us your video to schools@southamptoncitymission.co.uk. Please, someone try and beat Matt. I don't think his head could get much bigger otherwise if he is the top of the leaderboard this whole time.
It depends if my hair gets any bigger. talking about this challenge, I will just say this, Ellie. I know we're almost at the end here, but one of our team leaders, or one of our friends who used to be a team leader, who also has his own kind of video stuff that he does online, he has been doing a series of challenges throughout lockdown, and he has just made the decision to open those challenges up to anybody that wants to take part of it. They say that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, but I maybe would think that that person might want to have a challenge and see if he can beat me. And so, yeah, I'm not going to mention who he is. Maybe he watches, maybe he doesn't. But if you are watching, Barry, then bring it on. See if you can beat my 44 seconds. We will be back again in another week's time with our Thoughts at 3 online assembly on Monday, the 8th of March at 3 o'clock, as always, looking at the next in our 10 Commandments series, which is called Don't Steal.
Absolutely right. Well, hopefully we will see you again soon. Do check out all of the stuff on our YouTube channel. Maybe even see you in school sometime soon. We know you are heading back to the buildings very soon. But until then, take care, stay safe, and we will see you soon. Goodbye.
Bye.